Alright, so you're sitting on the sofa, you're surrounded by junk food, you're binge watching the latest Netflix special, and you literally can't be bothered to do a single thing. What do you call this? The best fucking night ever. However, when this isn't just a one-off Friday night and is instead your go-to activity for days on end, it becomes a bit more of a problem. Because in that latter situation, instead of just enjoying some well-deserved downtime, you have found yourself firmly in a rut. Now, ruts can be big or small, and sometimes they happen for reasons that are kind of understandable, and other times they seem to just creep up on us for no obvious reason. And I, for sure, have fallen victim to many a rut. But what I have come to realise is that ruts are a lot easier to actually get out of than we may think. And I have devised a simple 4-step formula that I am convinced can get anyone out of a rut. And that's what today's video is going to be all about. Okay, so step 1 is that you need to take ownership for the situation, for the rut you're in, and realise that you and only you are the one that is going to be able to drag yourself out of whatever situation that you may be in. And 95, maybe even more % of the time, the situation that you will be in will be a result of your own doing. For instance, maybe you're in a rut because you didn't get a job promotion that you think you're entitled to at work, and you're convinced that your boss is an idiot and you just can't believe that he can't see how good you are. That, I'm afraid, is not taking ownership. Instead, you need to do some introspection and you need to think more like, have I really been working as hard as I think I have? And do I really have the skills and the experience necessary for this promotion? And from there, you can identify the real issue and then define a solution out of it instead of just being in a rut. And maybe in the example, you do come to the conclusion that you really are being slighted at work and your boss really does have it in for you. Well, in that situation, maybe then the answer is that you actually do need to leave your job and you need to go work somewhere else where you will be respected. But at least then you have actually taken ownership and accountability for the situation. Now, there will also be some, although in my opinion, very few, circumstances that are truly outside of your control. For instance, maybe say a family member of yours has tragically died as a result of unforeseen circumstances. And understandably there, you have become very down, maybe depressed, and you do find yourself in a huge rut. But even in that situation, you can still take ownership in the form of deciding how you are going to respond to that situation. And of course, in circumstances like that, it may be very tough, but ultimately, it is still on you and your mindset that will determine how long you stay in the rut. And so regardless of the situation, no matter how hard it may be, you need to take ownership of the situation. Once you've done that, you can move on to step 2, which is to understand that the only way you're going to be able to get out of a situation is to take action. And I can hear you all now. So I'm in a rut, I'm fed up, but all I have to do is take some action to get out of it? Yeah, great advice, dickhead. But truthfully, it really is kind of that simple. You just need to put your best foot forward and to get going with things. And too often, people think that you need motivation to do something. And whilst in an ideal world, that probably is true. You probably would have motivation and you would enjoy doing whatever you're doing. However, it isn't necessary to take action and to get going. And a particular frame that I think is useful in relation to this is to think that if you're in a rut and you decide to do nothing, you will just clearly remain in the rut and at this baseline that you are at. However, if you decide to take action, the absolute worst case scenario is that nothing good comes from the action that you have taken, and so you will just remain in the same situation as if you had done nothing. In reality though, if you do take action, you will almost certainly get at least some small or maybe even big benefit or positive outcome out of the action that you have taken. And so because of that, it literally makes no sense to not take action. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this, please do like the video and it'd be great if you subscribe to the channel. Now, hopefully that is enough to make you realize that action is what you need to do and is the only way forward, which will then take you on to step 3, which is all about actually getting going and implementing action. And the key here is to break things down into small, manageable steps to start yourself out of the rut. For instance, say you're a writer and you have this goal of writing this grand novel, but you have found yourself in this rut because you just can't really think of anything to write. Don't have as your initial goal that you need to write said grand novel, because that's going to seem super intimidating and difficult and probably just not something that you're going to be able to do in your current circumstance. Instead, just have it on day one that all you've got to do is go to your laptop and write whatever comes to mind for just 10 minutes. That's it. And having these small actionable steps lowers the barrier for entry, and it will then give you a sense of satisfaction when you're actually able to do these things, and that will then give you some momentum and perhaps even motivation to continue on the more positive path than what you have been on. And then once you have done this and you have started to take action, you move on to step 4, which, like any good weightlifting program, is all about progressively overloading and cranking up the level of things that you're doing. So on day 1, you write 10 minutes of nonsense. The next day, 30 minutes of nonsense. The next day, you have to write 1 hour of a proper story plot, and so on and so on. And as you're doing this, you're gradually starting to do more and more, and you will be continuing to reinforce the good habits that you want and the type of person that you want to be. And you will also be gaining more confidence and momentum, and you will just feel better and better about yourself. And if you keep doing that, after not even that long a period of time, you 100% can be in a completely different place and frame of mind to where you were, and firmly out of the rut. And obviously, certain situations are going to be harder to get yourself out of than others. But just remember, no rut is permanent. And if you take ownership for the situation that you're in, realize that action is the only way to get yourself out of that situation, start action in the form of small, manageable steps, and then progressively overload from there, you can get yourself out of any rut that you're in. And you can do it relatively quickly. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do check out my previous upload here, and it would be great if you did subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video.